It's been tough getting here, but we never gave up. We practiced hard and supported each other every step of the way.
Yes, there were times when it felt like we couldn't go on, but we kept pushing. We knew it was our chance to prove ourselves.
We might be from different teams, but we share the same goal to win. Today, we are ready to give it everything we've got.
We know the competition will be brutal, but we are not afraid. We have trained for this moment and we are confident in our abilities.
This is what we have been working towards all seasons. We are excited to show everyone what we are made of.
Every setback was a lesson and every victory fueled our determination. We are here to give our best and leave everything on the battlefield.
We faced many challenges along the way, but each one has made us stronger. Today, we stand united and ready to showcase our skills.
Win or lose, we are proud to be here. Our motto is to fight with honor. Let the games begin.
And we know how much damage Byron can do with that first ability. Diving in, we have Alimsky going in straight onto Pegasus, but he's now out of range. There's that on-target ability come through. First blood does go over two. It is a double kill as well. It's not
why this composition can be so strong. Look at this 919 playing aggressive, baiting out the ultimate from Redsky, but hey, it doesn't matter. I can be untargetable again. I can take more kills over and over again, and they don't even want to go back. They don't even want to try and reset. Another untargetable again from 919. This double support is picked from the Vicious doing work. The Mosey trying to do something, but he can't do anything. Ultimate in the end as well was so smart, like being able to do it. And, two more kills though for Major Pride, maybe a third as well. And again, it's the Vicious playing a little bit aggressive in the enemy's jungle, and a killing spree now for Princess Frost and a few kills over to Suzuki with that Tyrant coming back up and available as well. You could be seeing a bit.
It's going to happen. It's going to go back to base now. Oh, Lamb knocks him out of the teleport. That was beautiful by Alimsky. He's not done. Tom goes down as well.
Their best at the moment to defend these high ground towers. The dive goes in, they get one kill, but they might be losing more though. 919 dashing all the way into the backline, actually loses his life for it as well, but it doesn't matter about the high ground towers. 919, oh my, so many dashes, so much damage. I thought they were gonna wait.
Xinlin being able to keep off S2G from that Tyrant, and there comes through the unbridled rage from Xinlin for AGHK, but we see Sora come through as well. Knock up on Sora. Sora is already pretty low. She tries to keep him in that battle, but it's another fall down for Sora once again.
See they're toying with them at the moment. It's like, yeah, you can't go back to base. We're going to completely catch you off guard. Close actually flashing in. Couldn't get a kill in the end. Dame takes another kill as well. They might even try and take another one here. Comes back alive. The stun comes through. The dash comes through into the backline as well. And that might just be it. I thought it was going to be one more team fight that might have changed this entire game.
Combo for AGHK, landing it once more onto Rekner. I think it was there. Yes, Hino goes down. We see Snow pick up a double kill as well. Is this going to be the game-ending finish here for AGHK with 8 minutes on the board, going into that 9-minute mark there as they take the higher ground turret in the clash lane. Everybody but Closer is dead and in that spawn.
Hello everyone and welcome to Grand Finals Day here in the EMEA Open Series for Honor of the Kings. 8 teams tried to make it to this point, but only 2 remain now, and one final best of 5 will see who will book their tickets to Malaysia and go to the Invitational Season 2 and also crown themselves EMEA champions. My name is Stuart, and joining me for another great day of action is Blam, and we've made it. We're on to the final day, Blam. 2 more teams left to see who's going to be crowned EMEA champions. How are you feeling? I hope you're super excited.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've seen this matchup before. I mean, I've been literally front row seats to this matchup between HK and the Vicious, but this time around there's less rounds, there's money on the line, and like you said, Stu, there is that ticket to Malaysia for the Season 2 Invitationals and the bragging rights to say that you are the champion of the EMEA finals within this open series. But you can kind of see the journeys here is a little bit different between both of these teams. HK not dropping a single round, but then the Vicious dropping a round to Major Prize yesterday, which we were all pretty taken by. But I can imagine they are going to try their best to finish this off with a clean slate.
Yeah, last time these two teams faced off against each other, Blam was casting as well, and it was a 4-1 victory for AGHK. But who knows what can happen this time around? It's a LAN environment. The teams are going to be face-to-face against each other. It's going to be so much pressure on these two teams because this is what these teams have been building up for, what they've been practicing for all this time to get to this moment. They still both got one more step to go to try and make it to the finals. You know, take a look back at that series before, Blam, that you casted between these two in that wildcard open qualifiers. What do you feel like is going to happen this time around? Do you feel like it's going to be another kind of clean sailing victory here for AGHK, or do you feel like the Vicious have maybe improved since then and maybe can take it all the way themselves?
I mean, to be honest, we didn't really get to see much of them in the wildcard qualifiers anyway, the Vicious or even AGHK, because there was only really 2 matches that was broadcasted other than the grand finals. But speaking of AGHK Hong Kong, here is the roster, and they are not to be mistaken with the the All Gaming KIC team. This is a different team. It is All Gaming Hong Kong, China, and it is Snow in the Clash lane, Myosotis, Devil in the mid lane. We have Zaze on the team as well, and I believe it is Qingling as well in the support lane. I got a little bit too carried away with before we even closed out, but again, this team already very welcomed, happy on stage. They look like they're in their elements, but like you were saying, Stu, we've seen it before. It was a 4-1 score to AGHK, but unfortunately, I feel like things are going to be different here, especially onto the side of Vicious.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. As talked about the Vicious, this is their roster for today. Easy buy. We have 919 Pegasus in the mid lane, Tommy in the farm lane, and MZK in the support role. Again, you mentioned that the Vicious did drop that one game against Major Pride yesterday. It was a very different composition. It was a very unique composition that they even said themselves in the interview. They said, this is something that we wanted to try out, but it didn't really work out. Maybe it could be like a little bit of a bait saying to AGHK, like, hey, we're not going to try this strategy again, but they might turn against it again. But you can see all the players ready and waiting in the LAN right now in Abu Dhabi, all getting ready on stage for the first draft of today. But going briefly back to AGHK as well, you know, I was kind of looking behind the scenes because it seems like they've had an absolute whirlwind of a ride to this point, you know, winning 2-0 against Axe, winning 2-0 against S2G. But even when you're looking at not just the wins themselves, but the players as well, you know, the KDAs and everything across the board. Snow in that clash lane, 17-0-17 overall. He has not died a single time in this EMEA finals with a 34 KDA. That is something special to come out from a player like Snow.
Absolutely. I mean, it's nothing to be frowned upon is all these KDAs that you've nicely put out for us here, Stu. and I'm just looking and totting up the total kills so far. So over to AGHK, they're currently on the 66 kills. So again, not one single team yet to get to that 100 kills within this tournament, but I feel like within this best of 5 we're gonna see it. But the Vicious are ahead just by 2 kills so far, so 68 kills to the 66 onto the side of AGHK. So it's gonna be again not only a bragging rights to see who finishes this one, but who's going to be the first team to get to that 100 kills. But we're going to be no speculation no more, because we are getting into game 1 draft right here, and we're already seeing some really aggressive bans come through on both of these teams. Over to the side of Vicious, they have the Dharma and the Zhongfei being banned, and they do Brio pick up the Hu Huan as well into the jungle. And again, over to the side of AGHK, they ban out the Lamb and the Pei. Kaiser and Dolia coming through for AGHK, a very well synergizing team between the support and the jungle. Already solid performance and solid draft for AGHK right now.
Yeah, that Lamb ban, no surprise really on the red side. You know, we've seen it already before. The Lamb being banned on that red side always gets first picked on the blue side if it is up and available. The Ali coming out, the Main coming out as well now for the Vicious. First picking that Hu Huan, who we've seen a lot in the jungle. We've seen it to great success, but also we've kind of seen the downside of it as well at the same time. But they've also gone AGHK for that Hu Yi in the farm lane. We've seen already the crazy combo that AGHK bring out with the Hu Yi and the Princess Frost. And before this series started, I was thinking to myself, is Princess Frost going to be a high priority pick or a high priority ban? Because Devil in the mid lane for AGHK has picked Princess Frost in every single game so far. They already have the Hu Yi, so will the Vicious ban away the Princess Frost to kind of deny them from that combo that they've been so successful with?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit off the pocket here, off the cusp pick in the ban phase here. The Zhuangzi getting banned on the side of AGHK. They knew that the Vicious was cooking something with that support pick that hasn't been picked up in the entire open series. So Zhuangzi has been put into the bench warming position right now, because maybe it will come out in one of these games within this whole series. But the Angela does come through. We are seeing a little thing, something different here from Devil Shu, as you've rightfully called out. The past 4 games, he's just insta-locked that Princess Frost. And over to the side of the Vicious, they have definitely worked on that clash lane pool there for the Charlotte and the Mayin. So again, 2 big picks that have already been very present within AGHK's lineup so far into this tournament.
Yeah, really interesting that the Angela gets picked up instead of the Princess Frost. You know, it wasn't even banned away either, so they might have had a little bit of a different strategy here, AGHK, with going for the Angela instead of the Princess Frost in the mid lane. And also, if I'm not mistaken, we saw the Guan Yu being picked up as the final pick as well in the clash lane. So something different coming out here for AGHK. But something that I realized as well before this series is that Myosotis in the jungle for AGHK has picked a unique jungler in every single one of these games. But I think now he's picked that Kaiser. So I was kind of saying to you, Blam, before this, I was like, is he going to pick a unique champion in every single one of these games in the EMEA finals? But that's not the case with the Kaiser. But here we go. Game number 1. This is about to go off and be an absolute banger of a series. AGHK versus the Vicious. One final best of 5 in this EMEA finals to see who will be crowned the champions.
Yeah, like you managed to pick up there in that draft towards the end on the side of AGHK, they managed to go for the Guan Yu pick, which did come through in the qualifiers for AGHK. It is a fantastic pick, and it kind of makes sense what their coach and manager was on about yesterday, saying that we're going to pick something speedy, because this guy is all about speed. He has he's on a horse. He can pretty much build momentum very quickly. He can push you in and out of turrets as well. So again, this hero is going to be something to be feared on the side of the Vicious, but playing against it already, I believe they should have some counter in their pocket for this Guan Yu pick. It's just all about making sure that none of your squishy heroes are going to be left overextended in these lanes at any point, because if that's the case, he is just gonna punish you because of his ability to be able to push you wherever he wants to. He can just make you go and completely take over the control of your mobile, basically. He's like, oh, you want to walk backwards? Nah, you're coming into the team with me, darling, and we're going to make sure that you don't leave this team fight. But already seeing quite a big presence in that mid lane, so a big fight for the mid lane turret very early on.
Yeah, I feel like in general as well, the Guan Yu can also be rotating a lot more. You know, we've seen a lot of clash laners kind of stay in their lane quite a lot. The only way that they've really been able to escape that clash lane is through that teleport right at the top of the map. But I feel like this Guan Yu can definitely look to try and rotate a lot more, try and maybe rotate to the mid lane, get an advantage through the mid lane and the jungle. As you can see, Snow is just so damn fast on this horse. It's absolutely crazy. But for now, he's just going to be sitting underneath the tower. He's not going to be able to play too aggressive, because 919 on this pickup that has been so strong throughout the entire tournament, this Yuan as well, just all the untargetability, all the healing and shielding and the movement speed just to get around the map, being able to clear the objectives has been such a big benefit for many teams in this tournament.
Yeah, with Easy Baby actually picking up a clash lane that we've yet to see him on within this regional finals. And the last time we saw the Hugh Huang come through onto the side of the Vicious, it was more so of a backseat sort of putting the pressure on for splitting the team fight, whilst we see the likes of Easy Baby manage to rack up those kills, because obviously last time it was picked up, he went on a no-death run with the Mayin, so we could see something very similar. But Guan Yu is really showing why he has such great presence in this game. First blood goes over to HoK, but it's not quite done yet. Tom is being harassed by the Hu Yi and the Dolia, but it's probably not going to be enough. Oh, the basic attack comes through from Dolia, and he does get picked up. However, Easy Baby picking up a kill onto the Angela. That CC Muti is not going to be enough, but the Kaiser comes through, picking up MZK under the second tier turret as well. That is 3 kills to 1 already on the side of HoK.
As I mentioned, this Guan Yu being able to rotate, being able to get that advantage, jumping onto 919 there, already used his ultimate very early on, so wasn't able to use that untargetability to kind of keep him alive. But there is the stun from the Hu Yi, and hey, you don't need a Princess Frost, you have an Angela as well to deal so much burst damage. That combo that we've been seeing this entire tournament from HoK, normally with the Princess Frost, but now with the Angela in the mid lane, still works just as well.
Yeah, going into that 4 minutes, we have 4 kills on the board. They're currently ahead by 1.3k. Picking up that Tyrant is just going to make the previous engages we've just been seeing a lot easier for the side of HoK. Kaiser, Dolia on the Sage buff side as well, managing to pick up the Sage buff from Hugh Huang, which is going to be a bit of a detriment to her kit right now, because she's not going to be able to get as much mana regen or cooldown either. We'll probably end up seeing, if they have the grits on the side of the Vicious, to try and pick up that Sage buff for themselves. Gammo does get hit by the Hu Yi as well. And then again, Devil on this Angela picking up the kill. Once again on Gammo. I feel like this Gammo pick is already retired within this team comp on the side of the Vicious, and the untargetable comes through. Is he going to keep the Hugh Huang alive? But Tom is now the main focus. Keeping an eye on that Parasol was their main mission, and crucial crowd control 3 times comes through from Guan Yu, pushing them back out of that range and safety of that second tier turret. There's just nothing that they can really do here, Stu. The Vicious have already had their numbers called, it seems.
Yeah, Snow is making such a huge difference in this game already. The ultimates as well from the Hu Yi is something that we highlighted in the draft, something that they have to keep their eyes on, the Vicious. And if you do hit a hero like the Ganamo, it's so easy to follow up with the other abilities. But this Guan Yi at the moment has been huge in the rotations. Easy Baby hasn't even been able to be in these fights, really. Hasn't really been in any of these fights. Saying that, does get one kill onto the back line now, but it's going to get traded back in the end, trying to make a difference this time around. But the rotations from the Guan Yu around the map with this horse has made such a huge impact to get AGHK these advantages at the moment in the bottom side of the map. And the clash lane has just been left to the minions right now, it seems like, because there's not really much farming or there's not really much tower taking in that clash lane. It's all happening in the farm lane at the moment.
Yeah, just looking at this little live replay, we saw that Easy Baby was overextended, managed to pick up the kill onto the Hu Yi to try and punish him for all those ultimates coming through from downtown. But as you see, Guan Yu is still in that same position. He's just literally going around in circles, waiting for the right time to strike. And there is Easy Baby going in, trying to take out Xin Ling, and maybe very successful with a takedown to try and get it. But Angela with the slow for the ultimate, it does come through. Ganmo picks up the kill onto Xin Ling. However, Kaiser is still very aggressive, untargetable coming through, but is it going to be enough to keep 919 alive? The Myosotis looking pretty low, takes shots from the turret, he goes down, but Guan Yu manages to pick up the kill under the nose of the Vicious right now, and this Guan Yu pick is everything Vicious and more. I don't understand why they didn't pick up this hero for themselves.
Yeah, 2-for-2 trade in the end. So this is the first time that Vicious has really taken an even trade in this early stages of the game. They are going to pick up the Overlord as well, but a bit of you know, aggression underneath the tower there for Myosotis. He did get stunned underneath the tower, wasn't able to move, so did actually die to the tower in the end. As you mentioned, you know, the movement speed from this clash lane pick from Snow is just so incredible to watch. Just going underneath the tower, walking by, just being like, yoink, that's a kill for me, and then I'm just going to run back away into safety as well. It's such an amazing pickup, that something that I was looking at, you know, kind of behind the scenes with some of the picks that some of these players have been picking in this EMEA finals through the qualifiers, and that's one of the picks that has been so fun to watch. And another kill in the mid lane with this Hu Yi pick, but it looks like the Vicious are trying to turn things back around, but they're not going to this time. Is a 1-for-0 at the moment. The ultimate comes through again, the reset from the Dolia, and it means that they could try and take this mid lane tower. They take the mid lane tower, but the Vicious gets one. They're trying to go back into the back line, trying to get another, but unstoppable for Devil in the mid lane, normally on this Princess Frost. But he's proving that he's not just a one trick. He can do the same thing on this Angela.
Yeah, that was a pretty big play there for the side of AGHK, but we saw some little nice notions going on, but it's not really going to pay dividends here because we do see the Sunbeam fall down, as we saw her pick up the cleanse in that draft as well, just to be a counter for Hu Yi. If that ult lands on him, or if she sees that ult come in, Sunbeam's going to go over to it. If cleanse is up, they're going to take that hit, but Pegasus is taking too much damage in that 2v3 right there. Zay's helping himself to the Vicious's red buff as well, so again, a lot more damage coming through on this Hu Yi. And this pickup right now, we don't see majority of the other teams within the EMEA Split 1 finals picking up that Hu Yi. We've seen a lot of Durenji, we've seen a lot of Lady Sun, and we've seen a lot of the likes of Marco Polo as well, but no one ever really picking up this Hu Yi pick, and AGHK really putting the brand stamp on this Hu Yi pickup also. But again, still AGHK playing a little bit too aggressive. They are losing here little bits here and there, but I don't think it's going to be enough for the Vicious to take hold of and just reel them in. But hey, it's still a little bit early on. There's 10 minutes now. We are in that mid-game. We already see MZK being picked off there by the Angela's blazing brilliance once more. And it looks like that Shadow Tyrant is going to go over to the side of AGHK. Yep, there it is. Kaiser in the back line. He's the jungler. He has the smite. He's nowhere near the Shadow Tyrant. He's literally like, yo, keep away from my baby girl. The objective that is that Shadow Tyrant. And Zaze is just going to be able to finish off the Tyrant there, picking it up for the whole team, making that get engaged from Myotosis even stronger and just be able to sustain so much damage from the Vicious right now.
There's just nothing that the Vicious can really do about it. Another ultimate from HoYi and another kill every single time this ultimate is up from HoYi. Someone is dead on the side of Vicious. The ultimate, the snipes are just too much for the Vicious to deal with. And the follow-up that they have drafted with this composition for AGHK, like I said, usually that Princess Frost, but this time with the Angela, kind of does the same thing as well with that stun ball that she's able to throw out, with that ultimate as well, that incredible single target damage. And the Vicious need to do something about this. If this pick does not get banned in game number 2, I will be very surprised. AGHK have gotten away with this pick too many times in this EMEA finals. It's happened time and time again. The quarterfinals, the semifinals, and now even the grander finals as well.
Yeah, it's as if they're getting away with murder as they managed to get a pickup once again on HoYi, a hero that hasn't been banned throughout the entire EMEA split. So again, they know it's a safe option because it's not going to get banned, but going from this game 1 to game 2, I believe that it will have to get banned. But again, because it's only really effective if you get that early game lead, with HoYi being quite a scaling hero within this team comp. If you don't let him scale, then he's not a problem. But unfortunately for the side of the Vicious, he is being able to scale exactly the way he wants to. He is getting every little bit of gold that he needs, but Guan Yu stalking the backline of the Vicious, but actually not being able to pick up any kills because they're a little bit more prone to that gank now. They know what's coming, but the CC immunity for Easy Baby just means that Guan Yu's able to fly over the wall with that horse, and we're seeing Myotosis is still committed to the grind, taking the hits from that turret because he is invulnerable with the nicely paired minion wave in that mid lane. Means game 1 is over already for the Vicious.
AGHK taking a convincing game number 1, another perfect draft for them, another unique pick as well with that Guan Yu as well in the clash lane. Unfortunately, Snow did lose his kind of flawless run really in this EMEA finals. He did die a single time, but still that early game, the pressure that the Guan Yu was able to do rotating around the map, he would just left Easy Baby in that clash lane the whole time, and there was nothing really that Easy Baby could do about it. Trying to rotate down in time, but with how much movement speed the Guan Yu has, been able to rotate to the mid lane and also to the bottom side of the map, giving AGHK that numbers advantage in the bottom side, gave them that advantage in the early game, gave them that goal lead in the early game. And as you mentioned, when you have that HoYi ahead, when you can use that ultimate aggressively, time and time again, every single time that ultimate lands, it was the go button for AGHK, and a near flawless game for them in game number 1. Great performance.
Absolutely. I mean, they had so much within their utility. Like you said, Stu, they got the HoYi ultimate. They didn't have the Princess Frost, but that didn't really matter because Angela came through with the stun. Blazing Brilliance is able to slow anybody that's making that engage upon to you to try and take you out early on. And there's just so much denial. You've got Dolia with a knockup. Guan Yu was always just rotating in circles, waiting for that prime time to just shine and gank the team fights. And just so, as you saw towards the end, there's just no obstacle for this hero. He's able to jump over walls. He's just able to be wherever he wishes to roam. He is there, booking a ticket, first class, super fast on the bullet train. He's down in your lane, pretty much taking you up, taking you out of your safety room as well, which is those turrets, which we saw him just pressure and push people and heroes out of those turrets to claim those kills for his team. So again, Guan Yu is a vicious, vicious pick.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy to see what the Vicious are going to try and do to try and turn things around in game number 2, because I feel like that HoYi either needs to be picked up, you know, whether the Vicious go for the same sort of strategy. And it's not like it's a hard strategy to kind of accomplish and a hard strategy to kind of bring to the forefront of your team. It's really simple, you know, HoYi ultimate, the ultimate lands. As long as the ultimate lands, you can just follow up and just engage. But it just shows how this AGHK lineup have been together for so long. They're all on the same page. They all understand what they need to do during the game as well. You know, they mentioned yesterday in the interview how their coach is also a big benefit to them as well with these drafts. And every single draft right now has been so good for AGHK. They have still not dropped a single game in this tournament. It'd be absolutely incredible if AGHK could go all the way. If they win this series 3-0 as well, they would go the whole way without dropping a single game. But here you go. Only one death on everyone except for Myosotis in the jungle. They're all going to be improving their KDAs after that game, that's for sure. But another incredible performance across the board. I don't think there was a single player that really had a bad game for the side of AGHK.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree with everything you said there, but they were alluding to AGHK's coach being their secret weapon. I'm starting to think that Guan Yu's their coach. You know, it's potentially the hero's just like, yeah, whispering in their ear like, yo, to pick me up, they've got no chance. Even with that Hugh Huanholt and Hugh on pick, still no chance. But yeah, looking at those figures, we see the 26% damage from the likes of the Kaiser, again, naturally a tanky pick, but still doing fantastic amounts of damage, and then 27% damage from the Hu Yi, which we didn't expect anything different from because it was just so present with those massive ultimates coming from downtown. Angela linking up with it, synergizing with that ultimate very well. And then if you look at the jungle game, one Tyrant, one Shadow Tyrant, no Overlords in sight for AGHK. And to be fair, with that aggression, did you need the Vanguards to rock down your lane? They were just everywhere. And this Guan Yu pick, I'm pretty sure this highlight is all going to be Hu Yi ult and Guan Yu rotations. That's what it seems like it's going to be to me right now.
No, like I said, it's just Easy Baby didn't know how to deal with it. Like I said, there was barely nothing happening in the clash lane in this game. I don't think there was any ganks, any pressure or anything at all in this clash lane. All the pressure was at this bottom side. And you can see these team fights. Every single team fight, this Guan Yu is in the fight. But Easy Baby is nowhere to be seen. And when he did join the team fights, yes, he got a kill, but he just got his life traded back. So the rotations and the movement speed of this Guan Yu getting that advantage in the bottom side of the map was such a huge win condition for AGHK in this series, and it really made a huge difference for them as well. And it's something that the Vicious has to be wary of. I think they've got so many things to kind of consider when coming into the second pick and ban phase. You know, the likes of Snow with this Guan Yu pick, the Hu Yi as well for Zeiss was also an incredible pick. You know, trying to make maybe Devil feel a bit uncomfortable on these control mages, which it seems like he can play other picks rather than that Princess Frost. There's so many things you have to consider against this AGHK lineup, and it just shows how strong they are as a team, as individuals as well, to win so convincingly in the grand final of the first game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit beyond the scenes sort of stats that we were looking at, and both of these teams heavily ban out that Mai, so whether that is just a weak pickup or generally a weakness for them, but Devil, like we've said and mentioned many times, synergizing with the Hu Yi, giving a great presence into those team fights, picks up the MVP for game one, but this player is no stranger for that MVP role. Again, going straight to Devil on the mid lane, but like you said, there's got to be some mad adjustments going on into game two for the Vicious to even think of picking up a game point from AGHK, which they managed to do in the qualifiers. But that Guan Yu that can't come through again. Hu Yi, you've got to really limit that scaling of that hero if you really want to still let that through but not ban it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see for sure. I think you know, when it comes to the pick and ban, you know, you talk about that my pick as well, you know, not banned or not picked at all in that first game. I think kind of noting that these two mid laners want to play the control mages. They feel comfortable on the control mages. We've seen other teams in this EMEA finals do really well on that my pick. So that's why that has been banned away. But we're going to be taking a quick short break. When we come back, game number 2 of this grand final between AGHK and the Vicious. You don't want to go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, to the EMEA Open Series finals here. After a very dominating performance by AGHK in game number 1, the Vicious have to come up with something special to try and bounce back in this series. But this is a best of 5, so even if AGHK do go up 2-0, we could still have 1 or 2 games after that as well. And as we were mentioning as well, these two teams have played off against each other in that qualifier in the wildcard before. And the Vicious did take a game off of them before. So they know how to beat AGHK. They know what to do. They know what to draft before. They've done it before. But the question is, Blam, can they do it again?
And I think the other question is very much on the flip coin of that is AGHK going to allow them to do that again? Because this time around, it's not just tokens that's on the line, and obviously just the pride of being first seed of that wildcard qualifier. There's money, and there is also your representation going into that Season 2 Invitational. Do you want to be known as a team that didn't drop a single round in the entire of your qualifier into Season 2 Invitational? Or do you want to know that's got a little bit of a blemish on the record and know that you can be hurt? I think I know which one I would rather be with the team like AGHK going into the Season 2 Invitational, especially with some solid teams that they will meet there as well. So again, I feel like that if they do show any weakness, then yes, the Vicious will definitely take them apart and try and gain that Game 2 or Game 3 win off them. But AGHK, I don't think, will allow them if they know what's going on.
Going to be interesting. We're just waiting for the draft to get underway here for the second game of this series. Take a back look at the first draft. You know, you were mentioning a bit, you know, off stream as well, off cam, or however you want to mention it, about some of the unique bans, but they're going to be getting underway anyway onto the second draft. Pretty much the same bans across the board. The Dharma being banned away, the Shanvei being banned away, the Lamb being banned away as well. These picks are coming thick and fast for these two sides.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think that this draft appearance is kind of like a boogeyman. The more we say, the less we say draft, the less chance it comes up. And then as soon as we start to discuss the last game's draft, it's like, boom, we're here. We're going to be now 2 bans in, like 3 picks up. But yeah, it's looking a little bit different, a little bit more fragrant this time around. But there is that my ban that was on about in the last game, still not going to be aired out onto the Gorge between either the Vicious or AGHK. But then you have the Dolia, the Lamb ban once again, Pei, Zhangfei, and Dharma again, all getting hit with that ban hammer. But we are seeing the Mayim come through again, so we know that Easy Baby likes this Mayim pick. The Dorenji is something a little bit more suitable for the side of the Vicious, as it's been played actually only once in the whole of the EMEA Split finals, and the rest was Arlie. So we were seeing that prime performance from Tommy on the Arlie that time around. So going for the Dorenji, maybe something a little bit different here. Having that stun in your utility is definitely going to be a great thing to have, especially with the Hino, who can teleport back with his ultimate as well. So getting the Byron pickup, huge early game hero in the Clash lane, but they really stick into the Shu 1 pickup as well. It seems like they just don't want to stray from that jungler.
No, they want to pick up the same jungle pick. Wasn't really that effective in game number 1, but we know the potential of this hero. You can see the Sunbin now going over the side of AGHK. They're going for a very different composition than what they were in game number 1. Every one of these picks at the moment are completely unique, and we'll have to see what the final pickup is going to be here for AGHK. But still, overall, really, really strong picks. You know, the Arlie has been very strong. The mobility that she brings is just absolutely crazy. Byron as well, also a very strong Clash lane at the moment, very strong in the early game and could do a lot during team fights. Interested to see where this Hino goes. You know, we have seen a Hino in the jungle. We have also seen it in the mid lane as well. Be a bit of a different pick, I guess you can say, for Devil, as I feel like it's a bit more aggressive. But there is the Princess Frost that we were talking about. Doesn't go on the side of Devil, but it goes on the side of Pegasus after not being banned this time around.
Yeah, so again, great zoning, great nuke damage from the Princess Frost. Once again, could be timed very well with that Dorenji stun. So if you can lock them in place with Dorenji, Mayeen can kick them wherever you want them to go as well. So kicking them into Winter is Coming is probably a great feat for this team. And the Vicious, I would have no doubt that they can perform such feats on this team. But they do pick up the Kayan as well. So a hero that we don't necessarily get to see, but that is a double dose of healing coming through on the side of the Vicious. You've got Hugh Huan, you've got Kayan. So again, lots of healing coming through. So you're going to be seeing AGHK having to be forced to build the anti-heal this time around. So trying to speed rush the anti-heal is probably going to be their predominant goal in the early game if they can't win the early game like they did in game 1. But they do pick up the Kaiser again, and it is synergized with the Sunbin. Not quite the Dolia, but still a fantastic pairing together. Woo! Game 2, Stu. It's shaping up to be a beauty again.
And here we go. Onto the Gorge we go for game number 2. 1-0 at the moment for AGHK. Can they take this series to a 2-0, or can this unique pick with the Kayan in the support be what the Vicious needed in this series? And it's going to be a very interesting pick because, as you mentioned, not being picked that much. Actually, the first time I believe it's being picked up in the EMEA finals. Hero, like you said, does have a lot of healing that compare also with that Hugh Huan as well. But also, her balls are kind of annoying as well. You know, the bouncing balls, being able to stun everyone and just keep bouncing over and over again. It's going to be quite frustrating to deal with. I mean, definitely playing against this hero, it can be really annoying to play against.
Yeah, I mean, when we briefly played together the other day, Stu, I was on this hero, you were on Lamb, and me getting those CCs from that earworm skill was definitely setting up some beautiful kills for the team and yourself. So again, like you said, that bouncing ball CC, it's very minor, it's very sort of a slapdash kind of CC, but it can really, I mean, in HoK, those are the major CCs that can make a difference because they're so minor, but at the same time, because so much happens within the team fights within HoK, that stun seems like a bit of a, like maybe what you would consider in other MOBAs like a 2 to 3 second stun, because it immobilizes you, puts you in place. And HoK is not the game where you are be standing still for too long, because with heroes like the Mayeen, with Dorenji with an even more aggressive stun as well on his ultimate, it's just something that you don't want to be susceptible to and fall victim to too many times. But already we're already seeing a little bit of a slower pace, a different orientation to where this focus is going, because we see Kaiser and Byron pairing up very frequently up in that clash lane against the Mayeen. They do not want this Mayeen to pop off in the early game, it seems, on the side of AGHK.
Oh, nearly a kill here. Oh, is the bomb going to do enough damage? I don't think it is. The healing in the end. Oh, it was close. Bomb nearly went down there to the Sunbin. They're actually going to try and play super aggressive here. And Ali takes the kill. That mobility, her being able to teleport back to her little umbrella to help her out there, using that dash to go forward, teleporting back, know that she'll be completely fine. Takes first blood for AGHK.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be aggressive, it's that Ali that you know and can trust to be aggressive. But the Winter is Coming comes through onto the Hino, but he is able to use that CC immunity from his ultimate to take himself out of the different season that Princess Frost has casted upon him there. So again, this seems like a really good counter to the Princess Frost, because not only does Hino have that great poke potential, he can now take himself out of that different season that is casted amongst him from the Weather Lady that is Princess Frost. But again, we're seeing a little bit more rotation from the mid lane and the jungler this time around to sort of share that gold between themselves. Because once you have a great control mage like the Princess Frost, you're able to clean these lanes up pretty quick. So trying to get optimal gold where you can, some passive income, for lack of better terms, for the Princess Frost is definitely going to be a better matchup for you going into these team fights at that 4-minute mark.
Definitely, that 4-minute mark is going to come up very soon as well. So both teams just trying their best right now to farm up as much as possible before these major objectives spawn. The only one thing about the Kayan, which might be a little bit of a downside, is that this Kayan has to stick pretty close to the allies because of the healing and everything that you need as well when you want to try and join these team fights. But sometimes being grouped together sometimes could be a bad thing, especially with how much crowd control and how much AoE damage the side of AGHK have, especially with Devil on this high note in the mid lane. But looks like the fight is about to happen. 919 dashing forward, but using the ultimate, using the untargeted ability to stay alive. And AGHK are the ones being aggressive. Devil nearly doing enough damage there, but the Vicious just couldn't get inside of the pit there to even try and steal away the Tyrant, and that goes easily in the way of AGHK.
Yeah, it's the problem with this Kaiser pickup. It's a sticky hero, but speaking of sticky, we have the Byron coming through, doing a lot of damage onto Hugh Huan, but is able to escape. Mayin does definitely not want to get caught in this 2v1 between the Kaiser and the Byron. Already doing massive damage onto Byron, but you don't want to get caught out by Myosotis there, because he can become invulnerable for a good 8 seconds on the Kaiser ult, and nothing really comes through there in terms of the kills. We are still on 1-0 for AGHK, but it looks like they may be picking up that all-important mid lane turret, but thanks to Princess Frost's Winter who's come in, that ultimate manages to clear out the minions, and once again, Kaiser takes these shots from these turrets and falls, so Myosotis given a kill over to the Vicious, which could be a little bit harmful here when the goal difference is very slim.
Yeah, really well played there by Pegasus, clearing out that mid lane wave, prioritizing the abilities on the minions instead of the hero, meant that the tower damage, as you said, from Myosotis, and also wasn't able to take that mid lane tower as well. And actually, the Vicious is the one taking the first tower in the bottom side of the map. And meanwhile, in that clash lane, another tower is going to go down, and the kill is going to go over to AGHK. But this time around, the Vicious are doing really well at kind of fighting back and being able to trade objectives across the map. Myosotis also playing super aggressive again, trying to dash forward, but there's 4 members of the Vicious there. I'm not too sure if that's exactly where you want to be, but with this mid lane tower being so low, wouldn't be surprised if AGHK look to try and rotate in this mid lane. But for now, they're just going to try and take the clash lane tower, which they do. The tier 2 tower goes down. The Vicious were kind of distracted by the mid lane tower. Meanwhile, Arlie was just like, okay, I can just take the clash lane tier 2 for completely free. And that's going to open up the top side of the map here for AGHK to be able to invade as the cleanse comes through from Hino in the end to stop it as well. But now the engage comes through in the mid lane. The engage from Myosotis not being able to do that much damage. You're starting to see the healing from 919 and from MZK come through. It's starting to become really difficult at the moment for AGHK to be able to get the kills that they want.
I sympathize there, Stu. There's a lot of MZKs, AGHKs. There's lots of different abbreviations going that can get us all tripped up. But what I mean, the Vicious aren't getting that tripped up in this game, like you did rightfully say there, Stu. The healing potential is coming through and definitely helping them. But what isn't helping them is the lack of macro here, because Zaze has just been given the go-ahead, the green card to take 2 tier turrets. 2 of them, not just one. Buy one, get one 3 across the map. So there is nowhere to hide other than this mid lane. And you can kind of see the picture that AGHK is painting here. They want to restrict them to that mid lane turret, knowing that it's so low, because that engage could come through. Mid lane turret goes down, but what does go down in that little engage there? It's a 4v2. Sunbin is going down, so they've got to watch themselves going into this next fight. But I fear that this Arlie's already been fed quite a lot, because she's doing so much damage within this 8-minute game so far. Easy Baby coming through onto the line of Haydu, stopping him, recalling. It was a brutal takedown there onto Devil. So another kill pickup, giving them the kill lead onto the side of the Vicious. They just need to play this turret game a little bit better here.
Yeah, they've been out macroed this game so far. They've put so much pressure. They've tried to defend this mid lane tower for their lives. But meanwhile, whilst they were trying to defend the mid lane tower, as you mentioned, the Arlie has just been rotating around the map by herself with no threat from the Vicious at all. The clash lane tier 2 tower and the farm lane tier 2 tower has gone down. And as you said, this Arlie is completely fed right now. She even steals away the Tyrant as well. They're not going to be able to go any further though to get any more kills, because the healing comes through here from the 2 supported picks for the Vicious. But again, they're going to rotate back to this mid lane. They're going to be able to take this mid lane tower. But look at Mayin. Mayin is in so much trouble. You have no towers to fall back to. Or maybe Mayin is the one that wants to try and play aggressive. Maybe it's the Vicious that wants to try and look for this fight. And Myosotis is the one that goes down in the end. There's a little bit of healing, but Hino's going to get one kill in response as well. So 1-for-1 trade with Devil taking a kill, but Myosotis going down. But again, look at Arlie in this bottom side of the map, getting more farm for herself and getting more fed from all of these minions. And there's going to be a time in this game where I feel like this Arlie is just going to be way too difficult for the Vicious to deal with.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw that the brutal barrage onto those side lanes has really put the Vicious in a sticky situation here, it seems. Again, managing to pick up another kill onto them. But we saw that gold graph as you was casting over that little point there. He just went from like 600 plus, and then it literally, as soon as it took Tyrant, he's like, back down to like 1,200. It was like literally a huge jump. And that was it on the side of AGHK. So if they keep this furious sort of resource pooling going on, what they're doing right now, they're not sort of going ham on the kills, they're not sort of massive leads ahead on these kills right now, but Hainu pick up a kill, fantastic poke onto the Hugh Huan there, so that goes down one of the healing potentials on the side of the Vicious as they are looking to take that Tyrant, because Ali's already stolen one Tyrant from the Vicious. Vicious currently not having a single jungle objective on their books right now, as the Shadow Overlord is still up for grabs. But as Hugh Huan is down, I don't think without a smite they're going to try and approach that Shadow Overlord, because I think it would pretty much result in a 75% chance that they could kill Theft that Shadow Tyrant. But let's look at that bot lane gold resources going all the way over to Arlie is 8.3 to 6.9. That is a huge lane difference within HoK. And same story in that mid lane, and it's really showing proven evident that Hino is coming through, and that is a 2-0 trade and a turret pickup for the Arlie, being used as the main ballista in this game, picking up the second tier turret, getting that gold again. She is going to be way ahead. That 8.2k gold that I just mentioned is clearly an outdated number there. That's going to be huge going into this higher ground fight, and she takes out the Hugh One again, gets the higher ground turret. If Zaze does not get MVP in this game, I don't know what he's going to be able to do, because again, the end is here in the game too. Okay, we was a little bit premature with that one. The minions are still here. There is still a chance for it to come through. AGHK looking pretty low. Byron using that shield to come through and stay within that team fight to do massive damage onto the Kayan. Kayan goes down. So does the Crystal. In game two, AGHK 2-0 already.
Dominating again from AGHK. The Vicious tried something a little bit new with this supportive pick, tried to play a different sort of play style, but it is just not working out for them. Around these objectives, the Vicious didn't really have that front line to check towards the objectives, to try and steal the objectives as well. With this, you know, with the double supportive pick in the jungle, in the support role, they have no one. They don't have that Liam Poe that this MZK has been playing, have been performing really well with. They don't have that sort of front line they can look to engage, play around the vision. And AGHK just playing the map so well that game. As we've mentioned, you know, during the game, there was so much tunnel vision happening for the Vicious. It was defend that mid lane tower with all our lives. But meanwhile, Arlie is just like, just around the map, just like, okay, I'll just take more and more towers around the map. Don't mind me. And as you mentioned in the end, I think it was like a 3,000 gold lead for Arlie in that farm lane. And by that point, once the team fights come through, once that happens, there is nothing that they can do against this Arlie. Yes, you can have as much healing and shielding as you want, but if you don't have damage and if you don't have a front line, well, then your composition is kind of doomed.
Yeah, it seems like going into the grand finals, AGHK have been waiting to prepare this Arlie pick, because all the way through the EMEA split, they haven't picked up the Arlie once. It's been the Hu Yi, it's been the Lady Sun. That's it. No variation, no deteriorating from those two fantastic picks that Zaze has undoubtedly played amazing on. But the Arlie here is a different slice, because we saw that it was not only just being used as their main farm lane, they're farming up up for the gold and stuff like that, it was able to be used as the macro outplay in that whole game. We saw that Ali took 2 tier turrets up into the clash lane, took them down in the farm lane, took down the higher ground in the farm lane, and which ultimately led onto the crystal falling very soon for the Vicious in that one. And like I said in that closing out call, if Zaze doesn't get MVP in game 2, I think I'm going to riot.
I mean, definitely was the huge playmaker in this game. I mean, look at the gold compared to everyone else. Nearly hit 10,000 gold in what was it, like an 11-minute game or something, was it? So nearly 1,000 gold per minute. That is outrageous for Zaze, you know, being able to get so much farm from the side lane, so many towers as well, so much gold for himself and also his team as well. It didn't really seem like anyone did too much else. Nothing special, really, to be fair. You know, Devil had a pretty solid pretty solid pick here in this mid lane. You know, Myosotis did get caught out a few times in that mid lane. But yeah, overall, an incredible performance for Zaze, an incredible performance again from AGHK. They're just all on the same page. They know what to do at the right times, and it's proving in this series as well. As you mentioned, you know, 2-0 up already in this grand final.
And yeah, just look at Zaze with that damage dealt, 31%, 25% the gold, complete gold went over to Zaze. Obviously, damage taken wasn't a lot because 1, try and catch this hero, and 2, she was doing bits. She was literally macros across the map, so half the time she wasn't even in the team fight, but she didn't need to be because the poke damage coming from Devil, Myosotis with the big engages and being able to kept alive by the Sunbin as well really aided for a team fight that was being able to be propped up with the absence of the Ali. So I have to give it over to AGHK. Not having the farm lane in majority of their team fights means that they can still win it from the Vicious, and that is with everybody pretty much present with 2, not 1, 2 avenues of health coming through from the Huan, from the Kayan. Not mean to rhyme, but I'm a poet and I just don't know it. But the heals coming through from both of these heroes was huge, and they should have had a lot more sustain in that one. Yes, the kills is probably going to be something that's a little bit more evident to that. The fact that they only managed to pick up 10 kills rather than, I don't know, closer towards 20 in game 1. But it still really didn't do anything other than delay the inevitable, it seems, because Ali was still able to take these early game, very aggressive kills from the Derengi as well.
Yeah, and you're seeing kind of seeing the problem in this composition with the highlights as we go through. You know, the objective control from AGHK in this game was absolutely flawless. And when you have a hero like the Huan in the jungle, you don't really have that same sort of frontline presence like the Kaiser, for example. You know, a hero like that can be a frontline presence that can do extremely well. There were some moments of opportunities, there were some moments of brightness for the side of the Vicious, but to be fair, it was only just 1 kill here and there. This was kind of their shining moment, really, where they look to try and win this team fight in the mid lane. But again, when it came across the major objectives, you know, AGHK taking 2 Tyrants and 1 Shadow Tyrant as well, that extra damage boost that they were able to get around the major objectives. Like I said, you don't really have anyone on the side of the Vicious to kind of face check, to go in to try and steal these objectives, because you're playing the double supportive pick with this Kayan and also the Huan, and this makes it difficult for them to try and get control around these objectives.
Yes, an MVP. If it's not correct, I'm gonna riot, Stu. I'm gonna riot in pure British fashion. Where's my Zaze MVP? It has been stolen. Get the tea bags, get the sticks, get the pitchforks. We're going to Abu Dhabi, Stu, me and you. I'm not going to fund it. I hope somebody else is going to. But that Zaze cheated out of MVP there, it seems. I mean, but 104k damage from Ainu, I suppose I can't really have much basis to riot at. But unfortunately for the Vicious, they are currently down 0-2 right now. So going into game 2, AGHK have 98 kills. All they need to do is close out another game, bag 2 kills, and they've got the 100 kills in the EMEA Split final as well, which no other team has managed to do.
Yeah, I think the Vicious are definitely going to have to look at a different draft, maybe go away from this Huan as well. You know, 2 games in a row now, the Vicious has first pick this jungler, but it just hasn't worked out for them in either one of these games. So, you know, the coaching staff and everything behind the scenes from the Vicious, I mean, I'm sure they're going to be preparing for a different draft in this game number 3, because 2 games in a row, they've gone for blue side. They've picked the blue side. They're like, okay, we want this first pick jungler. We want 919 on the pick that he's feel comfortable with, but it hasn't worked out for them. So after the break, we're going to be seeing if the Vicious can take a game off of AGHK, or if we're going to have a clean 3-0 and AGHK are going to be crowned the champions. We'll see you in a few minutes.
This one. Or this one. No!
What a dumbass.
A fluorescent stone!
You're no good at this.
I've been noticed! Time to fight!
Hey! What are you doing?
It's just you and me! You give that back!
That's a pair for me.
Again?
Your turn.
Come back and fight!
It's the kid who stole the ship! Get him! He's over there!
Shouldn't you run?
So you're not with them? Ladies first! Hey, wait up!
Where's that bomb I got from Mr. RUKH? Got it! Hey, shot firecracker!
A bomb!
Get them!
Leave them to me!
Huh? Get her too!
What a pain! Time to end this!
My senses can feel the suspense. Don't be tense, get off the fence. Strike them down with my brain sequence. Let me just take a bite out of all of their tricks. They might put me to the test, but I got finesse. And I feel the opposition, but it won't be for long. Let the story be written, we will rid of the wrongs. How did it get me so feeling better like this? My fate is hanging in the balance of the wind. Trouble's always knocking at my door like a song rapping.
Sir. Nice! Looks like the safest place turns out to be right under your enemy's nose.
Nope, I just got tired of running. The coast is clear now. Let's go. Huh? It's locked.
Ah!
Welcome back, everyone, to the EMEA finals here of the Open Series. We could be one game away from crowning our champions. AGHK at the moment 2-0 up versus the Vicious as we get closer to game number 3. Blam, let's take a quick dive back into the draft, and what changes do you want to see here from the side of the Vicious to maybe try and turn things around for them?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious one and the strongest front line on the side of AGHK is clearly the Kaiser, and pretty much throughout the entire tournament, the Kaiser's been a considered ban for most of these games. So Kaiser currently sitting on 5 bans overall. So to now go into these games in the grand finals and these teams, it's kind of as if AGHK going back to basics. It's kind of like, well, they probably think we're going to bring out flashy plays, but however, we are just going to bring out the basics, which is the Kaiser, the likes of the Ali, the Byron as well. So again, it was just overall just a great, strong team comp on the side of AGHK. But nothing to sort of disparage the team comp on the side of the Vicious as well, because they did have a few great parts, a few key moving things within that one. So they had the dual sort of healing. The Mayeen, again, was kind of almost put a stunting performance because of the early just those turrets in the clash lane being taken down very early on. So it kind of just negated the whole sort of prowess of the Mayeen to go against the Byron 1v1. She never really got to get activated in that game. And then Princess Frost obviously denied some really good wave clears in that one. But what are we seeing here? 919 with that Jing pick. That could be very troublesome for the side of AGHK.
Much more aggressive pick here for 919. No more of the Huyan, no more of the picks. They want full-on aggression this time around. They want to be proactive. They want to be the one that makes the plays, which they haven't done so far. In terms of the bans, they are exactly the same as game number 2, so nothing has really changed yet, but the priority is changing for the Vicious. The Byron now in the clash lane, the Jing in the jungle, a pick that has been rising in popularity throughout this EMEA Open Series finals, and the Princess Frost going back into the mid lane as well for Pegasus, who still had a really strong game. But that does give the Mayeen over to Snow in that cash lane. The Ali picked again, and also the Hino.
Yeah, so you're already seeing 2 brutal side lane pickups there on the side of AGHK. You're seeing the Mayeen come through, which we know that Snow has picked up a few times and has literally a no death run on this hero. And then we have the Ali come through again. So again, great macro gameplay we saw from the Ali in game 2 for picking up those second tier turrets in both of those side lanes. Hino, once again, we saw Devil get that MVP on that hero, so it could still be mid lane, it could be flexed into the jungle, but we are getting that Liam Poe on the side of AGHK. It's not normally their go-to pick, it's normally the pick that the Vicious take away from their opponent. So already maybe catching out and seeing the Vicious's cards, hoping to pick up that Liam Poe for themselves, but they thought, nah, we're going to take that one from you since Zhongfei's been taken and there's no other real tanky support pick they can go for. So they picked up the Liam Poe, which is going to leave them desiring something else within that support role. Did they go for the Dachau? None of the games, none of the series, they picked up that Dachau. They might have been really serious in what they said yesterday, saying that the Dachau wasn't actually quite the pick that they need, but we're getting 2 new heroes on the Gorge. There's Wang Zi and the Garo.
Garo is going to be a very interesting pickup. I think I love the way that Garo plays, this hero plays in team fights, or even in the, when it comes to the lane as well. Her incredible range can be so annoying to deal with, and the slows as well around the fight. But the Kaiser is going to be picked up again for Myosotis in the jungle. But it's going to be a very interesting way to go about it. Like you said, that Liam Poe, normally a pick for the Vicious, and we've seen how aggressive MZK can play on that Liam Poe, invading in the jungle, playing super aggressive, playing for the vision of his team. And I'm really curious to see if Qing Lin kind of plays that same play style with that Liam Poe as well.
I mean, there's only really one play you can play that, a hero, and it is definitely the same way that MZK plays him very proudly and really well. is literally using him as a roaming piece of intel, being able to start those engages. As a tank, he already does a lot of damage as well, so you can really start those engages on the right foot because of this Liam Poe. But again, I'm really looking forward to Tom on this Garo. The only problem is with Garo is that you've kind of got to play your positioning really well. But if we can see Pegasus play this Princess Frost once again very well, like we've seen throughout the rest of the tournament, being able to zone, being able to use the winter is coming, I feel like we could actually see some really good, nice positioning and setups for Tom on the Garo. But again, it's all down to that. Both of these farm lanes are very late game queens in their own sort of right, and there we go. Ali already doing a lot of damage, but Zhuangzi's now coming around to try and negate that Ali lead that we've been seeing for the past game or so on the side of AGHK, because Zaze has just been playing this hero with pure knowledge and skill.
I feel like with the Zhuangzi pick as well, it allows Tom to pick up this Garo, you know, with Zhuangzi's ultimate being able to get that crowd control immunity for the team, I think is very crucial. As you mentioned, with Garo not having any sort of mobility, her positioning is going to be key. There is a lot in terms of the range that Garo can bring, but if you're getting dove on by the likes of a Haino or Mayin or anyone like that, I feel like this supportive pick can definitely be very crucial on the side of the Vicious to try and keep this Garo alive.
Yeah, and obviously Garo's main piece of the kit is within her basic is that she can deal extra damage to shields with her skills as well. So again, with the likes of the Kaiser, with the Mayin as well, Liam Poe, there's a plenty of shield variants coming through on the side of AGHK, and maybe this is the calling card that the Vicious need to sort of stop that tankiness from the shields, that sustain as well from the shields. So with her piercing arrow passive, that could be the key to victory in game 3, because if it isn't, then unfortunately AGHK has just managed to be able to just brew up a easy, phenomenal 3-0 from the Vicious.
The Vicious are the ones that have to play super aggressive in this game. They're the ones that are going to have to be on the front foot, because we've seen already in this series that AGHK have been the one around the objectives, playing on the front foot, playing around, trying to get ahead in these lanes. That's exactly what they're trying to do at the moment, with Myosotis being able to rotate around the map. He's going to use that teleport, I believe, to be able to get away and go back into the mid lane, just so he can farm up again. But the Princess Frost does use the ultimate in the bottom lane, but nothing else comes of it just yet. And we'll have to see if this Lampo can offer the same sort of pressure as the Vicious does as well. But I think the big thing is that since the Vicious knows how this pick works, they've played it a bunch themselves, they're probably going to know how to play against it as well. At the same time, they're going to know how aggressive this Liam Poe is going to play.
You'd like to think so, but we'll see if AGHK can prove us wrong. But again, huge engage from the side of AGHK, but so loads of damage onto the Liam Poe. The Winter's coming, Garo's empowered abilities as well, just really making easy work and melting the Liam Poe, even though he's pretty much on fire himself thanks to his skin. They are melting him health-wise, not just physically in the appearance. But we're seeing very aggressive rotations from Haino as well. We see him place down his mark onto a very safe point of the brush, and then again trying to look for some way in to try and even the odds down in this farm lane, because a successful farm lane fight right now could really make the difference of a easy secure on this Tyrant or a battle for blood on this Tyrant. Easy baby going in, but Liam Poe and Mayin already making sure work of him in that early fight there. They are able to get the Tyrant. Jing was trying, but just wasn't enough in the Mirror Blades kit right there to able to pick off or get a crucial kill theft onto that first Tyrant. But it seems to be just a little bit of a tradition right now for AGHK being able to pick up the Tyrant every game first. Easy jungle objective.
Yeah, just every single game, it seems like the Vicious is just not in the right position. As you mentioned, you know, the Jing trying to dash over the wall, but unfortunately 919 was just a little too late to that one, and they couldn't really do anything else about it. You know, I think that when it comes to these objectives, you need to be the first person to try and create this pressure in the river, to be the one to try and go for an engage, try and go for vision control, try and get the extra vision and everything else that you want to try and get around these objectives. But in every single game so far, the Vicious have not been able to do that. It's always been AGHK, the first person at the objectives, the first team to kind of set up around the objectives, and it's been very difficult for Vicious to try and take them away, and it's given AGHK these small little advantages in the early game to help them farm up, to help them scale, and to help them in these later game fights.
And we're currently seeing the difference in the gold. It's not a lot. It's about 800 gold difference amongst the team themselves. But I think this is a good sign for the Vicious, right? I mean, they don't have a death on the board. We're going into the 6th minute of the game, very much more closer to the 10th minute match than we were to the beginning of the game. We haven't really seen any aggressive early gameplay, but that could all change here because we have Byron up with the teleportation mechanic here, trying to escape the Mayin, and Zay's here, but it's unfortunate because Liempo comes through, and I think I've just manifested the first blood for AGHK there. But are they going to be able to trade this turret for that kill up into the clash lane? But it's not. MZK gets caught by the Mayin and it just isn't able to escape. And then Pegasus taking a lot of damage from the Hino with that fantastic poke damage from this hero in the mid lane. Devil really putting a stamp again on the Hino, as we've only ever really seen him on the likes of the Princess Frost and stuff like that. So again, a really good hero for the side of AGHK.
A macro play across the board here from AGHK is just looking just perfection right now. The rotation from the farm lane of AGHK going into that clash lane, picking off Easy Baby, and then the TP from Snow going back into the bot lane to help out Devil as well. They get more kills in the bot lane, they get the top lane tower, they get the bot lane tower as well. And these rotations and these swaps around the map that they're able to do in either one of these lanes are just so difficult for the Vicious to deal with. And again, you look, we're seeing the same scenario as game number 2, the Arlie in this side lane, and the Vicious again are just, they're just sitting around the mid lane tower. They can't defend these side lane towers right now because they feel like they're already too far behind already. And again, it's the same story. They're going to have to play on the back foot again. They're going to have to make sure that they try and find a kind of a team fight from out of nowhere here. 919 looks to be the one that gets caught out. The Liempo goes in. Easy Baby is the one that gets taken down in the end. They're trying to find these fights. They're trying to find these picks, but AGHK are just reading them like a book.
Yeah, AGHK just really showing their experience within their previous teams that have been obviously on the Wildcard KIC tournament. But again, for those new joining chat, this is not the same all gaming roster that it is from the KIC. But there goes the 4th kill onto the board, which we now know is over that 100 kill mark in the EMEA Split 1 finals. So AGHK been able to rack up 2 victories here so far. Well, 3 if you're considering the 100 kills, because the 2-0 on the board, they're up with the 100 kills. The only team to secure 100 kills in the entire tournament, and looking to pretty much round out this tournament with a solid performance with no blemish on their record. And again, Liempo with a fantastic engage. We're seeing a fight between the 2 towers right now as Zay's been able to pick off the 919. So Jing goes down. 2nd tier turret again in that mid lane. Vital objectives going down on the side of the Vicious. They have nowhere to hide now. It is literally between the higher ground turrets and the crystal.
This is looking really difficult now for the Vicious. They haven't even been able to secure a kill in this game. 7,000 gold behind in 9 minutes, and it might only just take one more fight now for AGHK to secure that championship, to secure this series in such perfect fashion as well. They've not dropped a single game this entire tournament, and it doesn't look like they're going to be dropping a game in this grand finals either. Across the board, they've been playing so well. You know, Snow, Myosotis, Devil's Eyes, Jinglin, every single one of these players have played above and beyond what we even expected. We knew this team was going to be strong coming into it, but we didn't think that they would be this dominating, Blam.
Yeah, especially with such like basic back to basic meta. Sorry, that's what I was meant to say there. Especially with the likes of the Kaiser, a few additions with the Hino. Obviously, not very much a conventional pick, but is soon becoming something that has a popularity even within the Brazilian scene as well. So, but you still have the pickups of the Mayin, some great clash lane pick that we've always seen through many of the tournaments now. But Pegasus almost getting caught out, dash over the wall with both the Mayin and Liam Po with fantastic knockups from both of these heroes. Picking up another kill onto the side of AGHK. Without that, winter is coming. They are not going to be able to just drop it and stop those minion waves. Are we going to see another Overlord free game from AGHK, just showing that they don't need that mechanic to push these lanes? They've had the pressure, they've had the macro gameplay very early on from the offset, from the word go in every one of these games. AGHK really putting a claim onto how well that these teams can play with macro as well. Obviously showing the Season 2 teams are already invited, a little bit of a fear that they will be meeting this in their tournament as they're fighting over the higher ground turrets. Now the Clash Lane higher ground turret does fall again for the Vicious. It is looking like the same old Sungan dance, and these have been very quick games, Stu. Not quite the 7-minute match, not quite the 8-minute match that we've seen in the EMEA Split regional finals as a whole, but still 11 minutes. Anything before that 15-minute mark has just been vicious and fast gameplay.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and end the game right here, right now. They don't care about the rest of the high ground towers. They don't care about the Vicious at all. The flawless run is complete for AGHK. They're unstoppable, unbeatable, invincible. AG Hong Kong are your Open Series EMEA Split 1 champions.
Yes, there we have it, all in a huddle. They have done themselves really proud, to be honest. Again, a complete blemish-free record from AGHK Hong Kong. And obviously, once again, for those new joining in, if you have joined in this late, sorry for you, you've just missed out on all the gameplay, but this is different from the KIC roster and different teams. So again, AGH, Hong Kong, China, going through to the semi-finals as well. So they will be meeting the likes of those freshly qualified Southeast Asian teams, and obviously VKS as well. So a lot of great teams going into this next tournament, and even better teams. We are going to go over to the interviews very soon now, guys. But before that, you're just going to be witnessing your winners just some more as they stand in line to take the honor for winning the EMEA Finals Split 1 Open Series.
وحنكون معاهم هون لنعطيهم الجوائز ونكرمهم بفوزهم بهاي البطولة. You can bite it, but I want to talk to you now, and Devil. Obviously, congratulations on your win. That was a very convincing win. I mean, tell me first of all, how do you feel after winning?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I just can't express my feeling right now, but it's very happy, and then because it's the first time we come to that far to Abu Dhabi here and having this competition, and environment here, everyone here is very nice, and we meet so many friends here, and then we are glad to be here. We are glad to be here.
طبعا سألته بالمباراة الأولى شو شعوركم أول شيء إنكم فزتوا قال مبسوطين كثير إنه إحنا هاي أول بطولة لنا في أبو ظبي وانبسطنا إنه إجينا هون الأجواء جدا جميلة And Martin, second question is, the second game, it was 50-50. You know, first game was easy, third game was easy. Second game, what happened there?
Yeah, it's pretty close one because we choose a matchup. A hero combo is a pretty safer, not that aggressive at all. And as you can see, we take a lot of time to play on it. So, but at last we made it.
فأنا سألته برضه بالمباراة الثانية كانت مباراة نص نص ما كان أدائكم الأقوى فشو السبب؟ حكى لي إحنا اخترنا فريق شوي باسيف الدرافت تبعنا كان شوي يعني مش كتير أجريسيف فأخذناها بأمان وبالأخير بس قدرنا ننتصر فبرافو إلهم. What was your secret weapon in this final?
Secret weapons. And no. Actually, everyone is my secret weapon here, right? And I want to let you guys know because some of our players is not the player original role in this team. Because some of them is playing Crashling before, but now he's changing into jungle, and some of them is playing the jungle, but now he's going to the ADZ. So because about these changes, it make a lot differences in this team right now. But at last, we made it to here, and then we win the final, and we are very happy about it. Yeah.
سألته إذا في خلطة سحرية عملوها بالنهائي هاد وحكى لي إحنا صراحة كتير غيرنا أدوار صار الكلاش لين يلعب جنجلر ويعني عدة أدوار اختلفت بالفريق وهذا الإشي اللي غير علينا إحنا نظام البطولة وبرضه يمكن أعدائنا ما فهموا إيش إحنا قاعدين نعمل. Okay, wait a minute before you bite. Also, one more question. Obviously, you played against Vicious. You played before in the online phase and you beat them. Now, coming here, did you have different strategy or you tried same thing?
But that was, did we use the same things to face them? Just same things. Yeah, just the same things. Yeah.
So you chose the same thing and the Vicious couldn't. Are you that strong?
You should ask our teammate then. Are you guys wrong? Are you guys wrong?
Are you guys that strong? فسألتم إذا صراحة إنه غيروا إشي من تصفيات لهلا بالنسبة إنه لأنهم حيلعبوا ضد نفس الفريق حكى لي لا والله ما غيرنا إشي إحنا بس هيك إحنا قويين بشكل عام. Okay, one last question for you. Now that you won and you're qualified to Malaysia, what will AG Hong Kong do?
Yeah, about the Malaysia one, I mean the season 2 one, it's a pleasure to us because there is so many strong teams there, but we will try our best to beat them as much as possible, and then we were gonna prepare. At least we still got 1 month, I think, so maybe we can have a well prepared to join in there and then to play with the other strong teams. Yeah.
Do you think we will see you in the World Cup?
Of course, yeah, because our final target is aimed to the EWC, so I will see you guys in EWC, and then please keep on supporting us, and then we love to have you guys to support us.
ثانك يو مارتن. طبعا سالته اخر شيء اذا شو حيعمل هلا فريق اي جي هونغ كونغ بما انه فاز حكى لي حنضل نتدرب وحنضل نعمل اللي علينا لانه بطوله ماليزيا فيها فرق قويه فبدنا نحاول انه نتاهل على كاس العالم وسالته هل حنشوفكم في كاس العالم قال لي ان شاء الله حتشوفوني استمروا بالدعم وان شاء الله حنشوفك انت بالذات في كاس العالم. Thank you so much Martin. Thank you AG Hong Kong. Big round of applause again for our champions. كان معاكم عبد الله بتغطية هذه البطولة. إن شاء الله ما أكون قصرت معاكم ويعطيكم ألف عافية على المتابعة. شكرا لزيكا وإكس ال آر وكيوبي على التغطية الرائعة بالتعليق والتحليل والتقديم، وإن شاء الله نشوفكم في بطولات أخرى. زيكا الكلمة الأخيرة إلك.
AG Hong Kong, your Split 1 EMEA champions. A flawless run and not dropping a single game this entire tournament. What an incredible one for AG Hong Kong. And one thing I wanted to highlight from the interview as well is that yes, these players have played together on a team before. You know, this is not to be mistaken for the All Gamers Chinese team. This is a new team that has come together. But some of these players did play on a team before. They were at the World Championship before, but they were in different lanes. You know, Myosotis was playing in the Clash lane. He's now doing the same thing in the jungle in a completely different role. Zeiss was a jungle before, now playing in the farm lane. And it's so great to see that these players adapt to a new role, to a new play style, and with a new team as well coming together, that they have been able to come out on top as the champions of EMEA.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is definitely worth noting that some of these players have gone from roles that they are used to, very comfortable in, I can imagine, and then go into roles that they may have had some sort of like fluency in, but at the same time, they just definitely manhandled the competition, for lack of better words. But again, Zay's 5-0-2. Imagine the final game, you get no kills on the board. The Vicious not looking so vicious right now. It's a different story, Stu. I mean, they performed better in the wildcard qualifiers, and I don't understand how that kind of thing quite happens, other than the LAN pressure, other than the pressure of it being the grand finals and more being on the line. But to perform worse than your previous efforts makes little sense to me within this matchup. But AGHK are absolute titans in their own right. They are going to go over to the Season 2 Invitationals. And as their coach Martin said there, they're looking to go to EWC as well. They've got their eyes on the prize to take down all the other competition. But as you can see, the scores there, again, another Overlord free. There was no overshadowing of that Overlord in any of those games, and AGHK was just able to have that macro knowledge, have that fantastic gameplay, especially in game 2 and 3. I think that's where it was most notable with Ali, and just run away with it. They didn't need the Overlord to even help them do those kind of things. So again, mad props.
Yeah, big props to AGHK. I think from the macro down to even the micro play, you know, the team fights were played pretty much flawlessly. The macro play around the map, like you mentioned, in that game 2 and the game 3, just playing around the map so perfectly, getting little advantages around the map, whether it was one kill here or there, whether it was the tier 1 or the tier 2 towers. They knew where to be. They knew where to be and where they were wanting to be at the right place at the right time throughout this series. And they were no match for anyone, you know. So 3 teams tried to take them down. 3 teams even tried to take a game off of them, and no team could even take a game off them. They completed a game in under 8 minutes as well before against I believe it was MENA that they completed that game under 8 minutes. They went through this finals, and it didn't even look like they broke even a sweat in this entire tournament. And I'm really excited to see where this team will go and how far this team will go in the Invitational Season 2. Because I'll be totally honest with you, I think this team can go very far with what we've been seeing here in the EMEA finals.
And there we go. Devil picking up another MVP. I mean, if that doesn't classify as MVP of the whole tournament, I don't know what is. I mean, the guy's just overshadowing the rest of his teammates, but just how he picks up any hero in that mid lane and just absolutely demolishes. It doesn't matter if it's a control mage. We haven't quite seen him on the Maya yet, but we've seen him on the poke mages like the Hino as well, like the Angela, all coming through, shining brightly on all these pickups. But there you go, the unblemished record in the EMEA finals goes over to AGHK. 2-0, 2-0, 3-0 going into the Season 2 Invitational. All those teams are probably sweating right now, even the likes of the Brazilian champions back-to-back VKS. So that is a matchup I want to see.
No, it's like I mentioned already, it's going to be super exciting to see them in the Invitational Season 2 in Malaysia as well. And overall, I think it's been a great tournament. It's great to see all these players and all these teams in a LAN environment, you know, in Abu Dhabi. Some of the teams maybe probably wanted to perform better as well, but no one was really matched in the end for AGHK. I think that they were above and beyond everyone else. And like I said, they didn't even break a sweat. I'm sure they're going to be probably tested a lot more in the Invitational, as you mentioned, you know, with the Brazilian teams and also with all the SEA teams as well. That's going to be super exciting to see how AG Hong Kong do against all these SEA teams as well. But it was great as a, you know, Split 1 EMEA finals. I think all the players and all the teams should be proud, you know, putting on such a thrilling event throughout the week.
Yeah, I think we can't really moan in terms of like how little these teams got to play, because they did get to play the qualifiers against their respective regions as well. So it's not kind of like they were just thrown in the deep end. Here's your draw. Unfortunately, you got what you got, and that's it. They were able to kind of show themselves and perform in the qualifiers, but unfortunately, it was just fallen to the victims of the draw, some of these teams. But again, we had some surprising performances like the likes of Major Pride. I'm so happy for this team. I have no sort of like, other than seeing them at Season 1 Invitational, I have no affiliation to this team, but knowing that they've improved just seems like a great thing, some sort of great development within Honor of Kings, already blooming and blossoming within the global scene already. Even if it's not quite been able to match up to the Vicious or AGHK, it's still a fantastic thing to see. So seeing players grow, develop into their own kind of brand as well, I think is probably the best thing about a fresh esports scene.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really great for just mobile esports in general as well in the EMEA region. I think that the game is just going to grow. You know, the esports is going to grow as well. For us, we saw some familiar faces as well during the week as well, which is also great to see as well. So I think the EMEA region is just going to keep rising, just going to keep better as the years go on as well. But this time around, AGHK doing incredibly well to be able to take it all home. But I'm sure, you know, next time they're probably going to be tested. There's probably going to be some new players rising up as well in the EMEA region. I'm sure this won't be the last time that we see players from the likes of Stalwart Esports and everyone else as well. And they're going to look to try and take their revenge as well, eventually when we get into, you know, the next tournament for the EMEA region. But yeah, next up is that Invitational Season 2 as well, which is going to be pretty close by as well. So that's going to be exciting to see who other teams are going to qualify. We still have to wait for some more qualifications, I believe, from the Brazil region. They've still got to finish their qualifications as well. But like I said, you've got likes of Vivo Key, they're going to be there. You've got all the SEA teams as well from the likes of Philippines and also Malaysia as well. So overall, I think the next tournament that we have, that one is going to be even better than this one. And this one is going to be hard to top as well, because this one was such an amazing tournament to cover.
Absolutely. And I mean, you've not only just got the Brazilian conclusion, you have the last chance qualifiers for those C's teams, but which takes place next weekend. So again, it's now the time to be invested in Honor of Kings Esports. Lots of events coming through. Global coming in the 20th of this month in 18 days. But unfortunately for now, from the British guys, it is over for us here. But we'll see you very soon in the upcoming tournament. So take it easy, guys. Go out on the gorge, smash it, make a team, get in an org, or win the finals. Let's see how you do. We'll take it easy now. Bye now.